Good morning, everyone. It's a little bit more awkward than our usual live meetings where the energy was in the room and we could see each other. But I would say it's okay that we have this setup as well. Actually, I see let's say an upside of it all because our friends and colleagues and clients from abroad could join much more easier, and for this I'm really grateful. So this is a very good occasion, and really thank you everyone. Warm welcome here. I will just start by doing a bit of introduction before we start the session today. It will be a session like you very well know, I guess, or at least most of you, a session about sharing our best campaigns, taking some learnings and definitely some inspiration. We will talk a lot about purpose. I will let Catalin explain a little bit why we took this theme for today. But again, just before, let me jump and present to you our guests and special guests of today. In the room, in the screen, I have here Stefan, head of business with McCann, Andrei, head of strategy with McCann, Andrei, head of strategy and social media with MRM, and Catalin, which you all know, chief creative officer of McCann World Group, also CE director of McCann. But most equally important, although you wouldn't see them on the screen for the moment, you will see them shortly while we progress with the session today. We have, as I said, our special guest and most of all friends, Gabi Monteanu, marketing director at Candia, Gina Zgubea, senior digital marketing manager, KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell, Raluca Nicolaescu, head of marketing and communications at Mastercard Romania, and Adrian Păsărică, head of marketing Orcla Foods. I introduce them to you in the order of the appearance in our lives. They are long-term friends, and some of them recently joined, but once again, brave clients, and again, welcome to them as well. You will see a bit more of our colleagues that usually work hard on purpose as well. And I will introduce to you again, abstractly for the moment, Victor Croitoru, CE Regional New Business and Strategy Director for Ionuț Cojocaru, aka Lutsu, Content Director at McCann World Group Romania, Ioana Zamfir, Executive Creative Director at MRM, and Ruxandra Papuc, Executive Creative Director at McCann. So, I hope you will stay tuned for the next 1 hour and a half, more or less. You will see the campaigns, get the backstage stories, meet, as I said, brave clients and colleagues. And I hope you will get a healthy dose of inspiration. You will be able to ask questions in the chat section of the YouTube link that you used to connect. And we have reserved about 15-20 minutes at the end. Let's hope we stick to the schedule, but we will, as usual, try to answer all the questions even afterwards if needed. Yeah, so I would start then. I will ask you, Catalin, to tell us about the theme of today. In our backstage discussions, you said that doing meaningful work is not easy and it's not for everyone. Tell us why is that so?
Well, thank you, Beatrice. This is great.
I just hope it's not just us here.
Yeah, I hope so. But if it is, then we have a good time. I think we're all tired by now of doing these video calls. But we promise this will be, I don't know, maybe one of the last ones. We prefer to do this in person, face to face. And it seems like the pandemic is kind of like giving us a break. So who knows? Maybe the next one we'll actually be able to do it in person, like, because we'd love to see you guys. We've been going through the same things amongst ourselves because we don't see each other as often as we should. But we're fixing that. So we said, listen, let's do this event digital, and then let's plan a face-to-face one. We chose this theme with innovation on purpose. Besides the play on words, actually, it's super important. And we said it's hard on purpose because obviously it's very, very difficult to do purposeful work. I think it's one of the buzzwords, so like we're talking with a lot of clients, we're seeing, like all of us, we're exposed to a lot of articles, a lot of press, a lot of keynotes and so on. And purpose is one of the buzzwords. Like I don't think you see any presentation about, I don't know, where the future is going, how do you build a brand and so on, that doesn't mention purpose. The only thing is that purpose is one of those buzzwords that it's easy to put in a presentation, but it's very hard to actually follow in your work. And besides the fact that it's very hard to follow in your work, it's even harder not just to say that you're caring about stuff and so on, but actually engage people in doing something about it, or doing some kind of brand actions that actually make a difference. And to engage people in, I don't know, in your mission, in doing purposeful work, usually you need to find innovative ways to do that. And this is what we want to show you. We want to show you some examples of the work that we've been doing lately with our clients, with our guests, and we want to talk a little bit about that. And we want to do this Mythbusters theme, that because everybody's saying, man, it's like to do stuff, purposeful work, it's something that, I don't know, it's kind of like it's enough to want to do it, and then it just like naturally follows. But actually, it's very, very hard, to do meaningful work that actually has an impact and actually manages to impact people's lives and actually manages to create engagement is very, very hard, But besides the fact that it's very, very hard, it's also worth it. So that's what the discussion today is going to be about. It's going to be kind of like the depression part. It's like it's super hard. It's going to be super hard. But then it's also about how everything is finally worth it when you see the results and where you see how healthy it is for the brand. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to tell you a bit of the background stories for some of the campaigns, emphasizing the fact that it's very, very hard to do it. I know this is usually not the type of, usually you get speeches that say, listen, it's super easy to do purposeful work. So we encourage everyone to do it and so on. But the truth is that it's not easy. The truth is that it is hard, but like all the hard things that you do in life, they pay off, so it's worth it. And they create very stable and very meaningful relationships between ourselves in terms of the team who is doing that. And also they create beautiful campaigns that actually manage to stick in people's minds and to change behaviors and to actually do something. So we're going to be talking about that. So that's my short, long intro. Let's go and I don't know, Beatrice.
Yeah, let's start then with the first panel. We prepared 3 panels today. One of them is going to be focused on innovation. Actually, they are implicitly all focused on that, but we clustered some of our work that is we clustered it under the innovation of purpose, and then we will focus on communities on purpose. And we have the last panel dedicated to Rome. It's a Rome special, and it's related to the fact that this year we turned together 10 years of amazing purpose and hard work together. I will let this fine gentleman here to take on moderating each of the panel. Stefan will go first. With the innovation on purpose. I will just start asking you guys a question. Actually, usually when we say innovation, it pops to the mind technology, the latest platform features. How would we define innovation in communication? I mean, what's your take on it?
Yeah.
And with that, Stefan, to you.
Thank you very much, Beatrice. I'm very happy to be here in this discussion. And I think innovation it's a key thing that we need to address in our future efforts in order to build brands and to be relevant for our consumers. But as you mentioned before, I think innovation is a very complex concept, and I don't think innovation for the sake of innovation. But I strongly believe in innovation that helps advertising be more valuable for consumers and brands as well. I strongly believe that innovation could help brands to achieve their bigger and richer goals. But what is very important to be understood here is the fact that innovation is not equal with technology. And I think it's a key thing to understand this kind of relationship. In McCann, we have a very strong thinking tool. We name it truth hunting. And this kind of tool allow us to understand the cultural trends, to understand consumer insights and tensions. We can understand the different connections from categories. We can understand status of the brands in different moments of their evolution and so on. And from this perspective, we think that innovation can be an opportunity in each of these dimensions. For instance, we can ride on a cultural trend, but at the same time, we can develop a very interesting packaging for a new brand. So, long story short, from my opinion, innovation is not a goal per se. It's a tool that could bring value. What do you think, Cătălin?
I totally agree. Listen, I think innovation, again, I like to maybe you talk a little bit about the buzzwords and kind of like put a bit of meaning behind them, because I think a lot of people, they use these buzzwords like purpose, innovation, like they almost become meaningless. And I think it's important kind of to give our perspective on what it means. And for us, innovation is definitely not something connected only to technology. Obviously, technology today gives you a lot of opportunities on how we can have, you can create engagement, you can have lateral approaches. Obviously, like sky's the limit when you use technology. But it's not only about technology. I think innovation is about finding surprising ways to create engagement with your audience. It's about, like usually I like to describe creativity as kind of like this hectic mix of unexpected things, you know, so you have a lot of things on your mind. You have technology, you have insights, you have cultural facts and so on. And creativity is exactly that, putting two things together in an unexpected way. And this is very much connected to what innovation is. So you're trying to put together two things in an unexpected way. So you deliver an idea, you deliver an insight, you create engagement. And I think you're going to see, I'm going to point this out in all our campaigns, because I think we're doing it and we're delivering it in most of our work. And I think it's very, very important. I think it's something that it is in our DNA. And I'm proud of this because we are from Romania, and I think we have an innovation DNA inside of us. You know, it's like I always like when you talk with people and they say it's okay, so like what are you guys about in terms of creative culture? And I always tell them we're about innovation. Innovation triggered by different things. It can be triggered by social, can be triggered by content, can be triggered by different things. But we're about innovation, and I think this is a cultural thing because us as Romanians coming from a communist period, anyways, a period of time in which we had a lot of needs. You know, it's like we didn't grow up in a rich country that didn't have a lot of problems. So on the contrary, we grew up in a place where on the day-to-day you needed to fix a lot of things. You needed to be creative in order to, I don't know, build your own activities, to navigate in the day-to-day life and so on. And even though it seems like it's a bad thing, I think it also left a positive mark on us because this type of life actually trained us to be more innovative. And it's happening with us in Romania, and I think it's happening in the region, and you can see it in different countries in Latin America. But I think it's a very, very important skill, and we need to be careful to take advantage of that. I think this is what we're doing, and we like to do it while we want to put this in our campaigns. We want to have this innovative approach, so we help brands follow their purpose. That's it.
Perfect. Connecting dots with meaning. I like your definition. What do you think, Andrei, about this kind of approach?
Let me balance the Cătălin's lengthy answer with a shorter one. So I think definitely we do have, as Romanians, we do have creativity in our DNA to a really great extent. And I also agree with the previous speakers that technology is not everything in terms of creativity. However, as we are like specialists or scientists of disruption as advertising people, I think innovation is pretty much the biggest disruptor in advertising, and that's probably common knowledge. Technology is the biggest disruptor in terms of innovation. So whenever you want to perform disruption in any way to any group of people or in any channel in any moment, I think technology is your best bet.
So creativity, technology. Victor, what do you think?
Yeah. So look, guys, let me give you our two things on innovation. It basically boils up to two things that should go together in an equation to solve this problem, which actually doesn't take that easy, to get solved. But it boils down to having always an audience first approach, strategy based on that. And why do we kick off with that is because, everybody's saying it. Media is becoming so expensive. So, you need to really drill down into understanding exactly what's delivering to your business, and then make the most of the money you spend in order to reach those particular audiences. So, having the right audience strategy is a kickoff for going into the right direction with innovation. And where does that come into the play is actually it has to do with tapping into the right behaviors and passions of those kind of audiences. So, you really need to understand which are those behaviors and passions that can trigger, that can click to that audience, so that you can bring the innovation to life. And the second thing actually has to do with their journeys. So how can we surprise? How can we, take them into these kind of unexpected experiences? And how can we better connect with the audiences, to create those occasions where the brand really stands out, where we can make our mark, let's say, into culture? How can we put these two together, the audiences and their journeys, to create this, unexpected chemistry that could benefit to our brands, of course. So that's basically, our equation of connection planning.
Yeah, very good, very good. Cool. So let's see some work then to talk about.
Suntem două persoane pe 4.000 de hectare de pădure. Ce putem face?
We install the guardians in the canopy of the forest. This is the device that will be recording the sounds of the forest and then sending it back. And this inside has the mobile device, protects the guardian from the elements, from the wind, from the rain. Solar panels are designed in a really efficient way to maximize surface area. And plug the microphone in here, put some protection on.
Pădurea este smart și ne anunță prin telefon dacă este o problemă.
Why are Romanian activists turning to witchcraft? Romania, the Amazon of Europe, is losing 20 million cubic meters of wood every year due to illegal logging. Romania also happens to be a country where people still respect witches and witchcraft. Politicians and celebrities fear them, and they are even becoming digitalized.
With the power of the internet, Romania's witch community is migrating their ancient practice onto the web.
Toți oamenii din politic care sunt aici în descântecul meu vor cădea la pat dacă nu se vor ține de cuvânt.
Chiar și din clasa politică luată există persoane care sunt sensibile în lumea magică. Teama poate genera magicul.
With authorities indifferent to the problem, Greenpeace needed to use a drastic approach to stop the illegal logging. Instead of using celebrities or activists, they partnered with Primavera, a well-known local witch, to put a curse on the ones who are illegally cutting the forests.
Farmece, blesteme, făcături, trimisături, tu apă curată și luminată, dăm forță, dăm putere, să potolesc oamenii care doresc să mai facă tăieri în păduri. Cine mai taie copac, să se chinuie ca copacul.
They seeded the video online, and we encouraged people to share the curse. Mainstream media reacted and took our message to the less digitalized people in rural areas.
Dacă de vorbă bună nu ascultă, atunci măcar să se teamă de blesteme.
They also brought the curse to the heart of the deforested areas through guerrilla actions.
Omul face rău, rău îi dă.
Să le fie.
Some feared the curse, others were provoked and signed the petition to make the law stronger than the curse. Over 50,000 people signed the petition to adopt the satellite wood tracking system. The petition was discussed and adopted by the Romanian government.
Wow, huge topics, creativity, technology, content, all this kind of stuff that are very, very good and efficient somehow. But what do you think, Cătălin? What are the needs and what is the creative process behind?
These are big ones. To be honest, it's on purpose. Like, I'm playing with these words all the time. Like, I'm gonna do this stupid word play.
It's hard on purpose.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. But I think it's very interesting. Like these two campaigns being put one next to another. I think they're a great proof about exactly what we were saying earlier. What is innovation? And one of them, it's using technology to follow up on its purpose. And the other one, it's like the opposite. It's using something that is like, it's using magic, something that's kind of like the opposite of science, the opposite of technology. But they're both very, very innovative. You know, so I think this is the best proof that innovation can exist outside of the technology bubble, let's say, and it's about a lateral approach in tackling a certain subject. So if you look at the Vodafone work, it's very clear that it's based on Vodafone's brand purpose, because Vodafone always has been about putting technology in people's hands so they can improve their lives. Okay, technology for the better. Okay, so this is another campaign on this route. You know, even if you look at the older campaigns, they were focused a bit more on individual progress. Even if you look at the Gitsa campaigns, the Grannies campaigns, like everything that we've been doing, also now in the lockdown with Together We're Stronger, all of them, they're about technology trying to make a difference in people's lives. It's about that. And then you need to find innovative ways in which people can use that piece of technology so they actually either improve their lives or they can connect and make a difference for the planet. In this case, obviously, it's one of the big issues. We all know about it. We see it in the news all the time. And I think everyone has a bit of a frustration because they don't know what to do about it. And in this case, technology is being used to make a difference. You know, so it's technology for good. And you look at the other spectrum, you look at the Greenpeace campaign, and if in the first one, the product, okay, what Vodafone is about is technology. In the other one, Greenpeace is not about technology. It's not that Greenpeace cannot use technology, but Greenpeace is very provocative. Greenpeace always needs to be the challenger and needs to come with radical solutions. You know, so in a way, this solution to go and to kind of like appeal to the other side, to the unrational side of humanity, it's another innovative solution that tackles basically the same tension, you know, the illegal logging. And I think when you put them one next to another, I think they give you a very, very interesting view on how you can go and you can use what is very significant in terms of brand assets and brand values in order to follow up and tackle the same tension, because it's the same tension, it tackles the same problem. And I think it opens the door also to, I don't know, different brands. They can use their brand assets and they can use what they stand for to tackle maybe this tension or whatever other tension. So I think it's important. I think, again, putting them one next to another gives you a very interesting view on how you are using something that is relevant to your brand and tackle one of these big issues that we're facing.
Yeah, fully agree. Let's see some more cases.
Romania is one of the most corrupt countries in Europe.
Guilty of corruption. Romania's corruption.
Fight against corruption.
Corruption.
Nu vreau să votez nici acum și nici mai târziu.
Nu m-a convins absolut nimica.
Salut! Sunt Toma Corun și m-am hotărât să candidez la președinție.
Candidatul cu numele Toma Corund, în momentul în care și-a anunțat candidatura, aproape că în două a împărțit România, cu niște propuneri absurde, absolut absurde.
A venit momentul să le exploatăm și să profităm de pe urma lor. Dacă la mine a funcționat, au și ăștia mici șansa lor. Școala vieții. Păi le fac la fel ca în Europa. Pentru cei care au mașini ca în Europa. Nu vreau să mă votați. Dimpotrivă, vreau să ieșiți la vot, tocmai ca să nu iasă unul ca Toma Corun.
Intri pe romautentic.ro, îl scanezi și afli de la mine motive pentru care merită să mergeți la vot.
Câștig eu, câștigă România.
Wimbledon is now cancelled.
Postponed.
Latest major sports cancellation canceled for 2020.
What the hell was...
Hi there! I represent Rum, a small Romanian chocolate with big ambitions. To launch Rum Buzz, we can't really afford to sponsor a big, famous international event. But it's 2020, so maybe, just maybe, we could sponsor a cancelled big, famous international event. Their tennis tournament where everybody dresses in white. You have balls, we have balls. Picture it, everything in chocolate. Maybe even a new cup. Here's an amazing stage. Yes, it's in the shape of a giant chocolate wafer filled with rum that we're launching now. Dear organizers of the world's biggest superhero event, giving you the Rum Buzz Man. If you could just add the Rum Buzz flag among all the other countries, that'd be great. I know what you're thinking. Might distract the players, but hey, it's not gonna be a problem this year, right?
Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.
Nici cupa asta nu arată prea rău. Dacă aș fi câștigat-o, aș fi mușcat din ea.
Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. We got the right stuff. We put the hammer right down. Wanna be like us? You better stick around. If you want it, you gotta prove it. Like we do it, like we do it. Can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.
Yay, yay, yay. First of all,
Hey!
welcome on our virtual stage, Gabriela and Victor. I think with this bronze F in marketing disruptors category, Rum Buzz demonstrated once again why it's very important to have an innovative mindset. Gabriela, what do you think about this campaign? How difficult was to buy the creative idea? You are on mute, the most important phrase. Gabriela, you are still on mute.
I'm trying to lip read Gabi's idea. I will translate.
Okay.
Gabi, keep talking. I will translate.
It's a nice discussion, right? No.
Not really.
No. It's hard on purpose again.
It's not easy. It's not easy. And to be honest, it wouldn't be a great event if we don't run into technical trouble. This is very fashionable.
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work. Let's try to fix it in time, but maybe until then,
Guys, let's pick up on our side.
Yeah, and
exactly. Victor, what I like very much about Rome campaigns in general is the fact they succeed in generating a lot of earning media. You, as a master of media mix and media strategy, what do you think?
You said you will use the word guru. What happened, Stefan? Come on.
Yeah. You are the guru.
I'm kidding.
Excited, that's why. What do you think? What is the beyond a strong insight and a very crafted creative execution? What do you think is the most efficient media recipe in order to generate earning media?
Yeah, I think that there's a secret sauce into this, and we've been close to this brand since, I don't know, 15, 17 years ago, since we started to do stuff here. And what we're actually doing different from a connections planning perspective is that, whenever you see campaigns from other brands, it's pretty obvious the fact that they're starting from a paid perspective. So, let's build up a campaign. Let's put the media behind to shout really loudly. Now that's completely opposite to what we did so far for Rome, because basically what we're doing is we're starting with the owned assets that we're having. That's the first thing. The second is that whenever we're doing that, we use those owned assets to provoke. So that's what we did with American Rome. That's what we did with the Remains the Smart, so on and so on. And that's what we did with these two campaigns as well. And the reason, for doing that is purely to have better engagement and, at the end of the day, better reach for our campaigns, So, particularly for the last one, for the Rome Buzz, from audience perspective, we started with two types of audiences. First, we looked at the campaign as a business to business, let's say, type of campaign. We wanted to get in touch with those festival producers, so on and so forth. I mean, we've managed to enroll quite a lot of people into that. And by doing that, of course, we also managed to activate those communities behind them. So, it had like two components, the business to business, trying to reach out those people that are doing the organization, and the second audience, our consumers that needed to engage with the whole idea and further, tell the story about it. So, that's the thing. That's the trick with Rome. You always start from the owned assets. You never start from paid.
Yeah, very good, very good input. Yes, fully agree with you. Cătălin.
It worked,
Yeah, definitely. Cătălin, what's your favorite from these two campaigns? It's a tricky question.
Man, I love all of them. Like, I love all the Rome work. And you're gonna see, because we have a panel especially on that. It's a good celebration moment. By the way, with this, I'm gonna stick and I'm gonna say a couple of words about Rome Buzz, because we can pick up the conversation later on also about the other ones in the last panel of the day. So Rome Buzz is great because it follows up exactly on what Rome is doing. So Rome, historically, it's always tried to do something that activates the Romanian pride and kind of like gathers people around this cause, so like we activate Romanian pride and we're giving you a tool that you can use to participate, and we can accomplish this mission together. So it's kind of like the same with Rome Buzz. So you imagine you have a brand is trying to do a launch during these crazy pandemic times when everything is canceled, even though for a launch, sponsoring an event would be amazing. So what does Rome do? Rome does what it knows to do best. It's trying to do the impossible, and it's proposing something that obviously it would be impossible in the normal times. How about a Romanian small chocolate bar to sponsor one big international event, or maybe several, and we're offering, like, we're doing this as a provocation, obviously, but why? To give people a way to help us spread the message and get these crazy proposals to the organizers and engage them in this crazy mission, and I think it worked, and I think it's great. It's always a challenge, by the way, because even though you're following obviously the same purpose of activating the Romanian pride and giving them an innovative way of participating to your campaign, every campaign is not easy to do. It's like I always try to connect, and I want to make this point of how tough it is, because on paper it's clear, and obviously that's the starting point. but always it's very tough to find new ways, innovative ways to get people involved. And this pandemic, even though all in all obviously was a bad thing, what Rome did was trying to find the positive side of that. You know, and in a period of time in which everybody was, oh my God, what's going to happen and so on, you need brands like Rome to behave like true challenger brands and change the conversation. And I think this is what we love a lot about this. Gabi, you can
I'll put it on your side, Gabi.
I'm back. So I think it's very much about courage, and I just wanted to ask to answer to your initial question. How did we approve the campaign? So I was saying that I think every time we approve the campaign that we feel they have the right purpose and the relevance for the brand and for the Romanians, because Rome is about Romanians. And I think, we feel it. We don't have a board with checking points, very academic and very formal to approve. So whenever we feel is the right mission for Rome and it has the right relevance for the Romanians, we simply go for it. I think we have learned over the time to be brave like Rome is, and to take all the challenges that are, very much coming from our society in which we live. Because Rome, all the campaigns we have ever had on this brand are inspired by what is happening in Romania, what is happening with the Romanians, what is the tension in the society, and it's very much about how do we feel.
Yeah, you are totally right.
This is how we approve the campaigns.
How do you feel? You know what's funny about this? Because we're joking. It's like it's about how do you feel, and like the right feeling is feeling a bit scared, and Gabi can confirm, because the thing is that usually you think, listen, there's a campaign in front of us, and if it makes us feel happy and okay, it feels like it's the right one. But to be honest, with the wrong campaigns, the ones that make you feel a bit scared, and a bit is just because we are a bit
scared and with chicken bobs. If we have this mix of feelings, then it's the right way to go.
It's very important, and we need to congratulate, because we're in a big group here, and we need to congratulate Gabi and the team, because they really are bold. Obviously, you would say, yeah, because Rome is a challenger brand, and being bold basically needs to compensate for, I don't know, let's say bigger budget of the competition. And it is true, but the boldness of doing brave campaigns one after the other and basically building your brand DNA on bravery and on boldness and executing on that, I think it's a very, very important thing. And even though we're always pushing, we're like, listen, come on, guys, this is easy. And we know it's not easy. It's very difficult. Especially look at Rome Buzz, and that's a very tricky campaign. You're tackling different things. You need to be very careful legally, from all sides. And we know that's not easy. And we know these guys are taking a risk when they're doing stuff like that. But it's a calculated risk. And again, it's a journey that we're navigating together. And I think it's like that. This is what makes it exciting,
True. I didn't go to the hairdresser for a purpose, just to show you this braveness, how created an impact on all of us.
My hair.
So it's good, to go for crazy stuff, because it is really very rewarding.
Okay, perfect.
True. And just want to mention just one thing before we move, talking about the rewarding. And we know, talking about this last campaign, the Rome Buzz, that it already got an Effie in market disruption, and now it is shortlisted in Cannes in challenger, in brand activation in the subcategory challenger brand. So finger crossed. Maybe you want to keep your eyes on the digital gala that is going to happen later on. I think this is a really good proof, again, taking risk and being super great, and it's worth it, So
back in 2010, when we had a lot of rewards from Cannes with the American Rome. Look at this. there was a guy that popped up on the internet, and he was playing with a Rom in his car, and he was saying, "I am a Romanian guy. Today I'm dressed in the Romanian traditional shirt because it's the day of Ia. Why the hell am I talking in English?" So, well, getting back to what today means, we keep finger crossed for our Rombaz. You have used a lot of buzzword, Cătălin, at the beginning of this show, but now, well, we are talking about the buzz band.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll catch up later in our dedicated panel. Let's see the next case, please.
Vă dăm o pită. Cum vedeați până acum poliția pe Waze, așa o să mă vedeți de acum încolo pe mine cu pita.
Producătorii agricoli vor fi semnalizați pe Waze
și vor primi un dispozitiv POS.
Până să gândească autoritățile vreun sistem de ajutor, sprijinul vine de la Mastercard și aplicația Waze.
Vedem această pictogramă și o găsim pe doamna Chivuța.
Zi, măi, seamănă cu mine?
Da, e cea mai frumoasă.
Să le dau și să iau banii.
La noi, mere și cu cardul.
Perf. First of all, welcome Raluca, welcome Andrei. Congratulations for the Silver Lion for this beautiful campaign. I think it's a very simple and brilliant idea brought to life by our common team. And Raluca, congratulations for Silver Effie in financial category. It's a very big achievement for our common effort. Raluca, talking about technology, talking about innovation, talking about purpose, what's your perspective from this campaign on this topic?
Hello, guys. Do you hear me well?
Yeah, perfectly.
Perfect.
Welcome.
First of all, congratulations to all of us, and congratulations to this guy that is laughing over there in the corner, because he is the master of disaster. So, Cătălin, let's say that we just did it.
It's me with a big team. Like we have so many.
Of course.
With Ruxandra, with Rusu, with all the guys. Like I think. Anyways, I will get into that, because I think I want to make a point about the teamwork in general, but especially in this campaign. But yeah, later.
Yeah, of course, later on. But you know, when you have to point out to somebody, you have to find a face to point out on. And let's say that for this case, we did it very often to you. So you are the guilty one. And joke aside, thank you very much, guys. Indeed, it was very much achievement and a big honor for all of us and all the team to see that our work, that it wasn't related to the the business per se as the first thinking, but it was about create something with purpose and leave something behind and enlarge the horizon, and to see that this kind of thinking and innovative approach is very much appreciated by, on one hand, by the people, by the simple people, and on the other hand, by the specialists in our industry. So with all these things together, we just feel that we did it very well. And now coming back to this magic word named purpose. Actually, I feel it very much linked with what MasterCard motto it is, because you know that at from global to regional and local levels, we say that we are about connecting people to priceless possibilities. So what that means is that we are really trying to put the purpose behind all the initiatives, talking about very small ones to going to the very big and strategic ones, to put the purpose behind in order to feel that that again, beside the business purpose, we really are contributing to a better life of the people, you know. And because you've talked a lot also about the technology, in this case particularly, what we feel is that actually about putting it different. Usually when we think about technology, it's something like astronomic, robots, I don't know, something very sophisticated that it creates, I don't know, the table that it's spinning and something like that. But actually, it shouldn't be necessarily like that. Technology can mean also something very simple but very efficient in the same time. Technology can mean, I don't know, infrastructures and offering the possibility to create the infrastructure for the things to close the wheel and to function. And what we've done this time, it was exactly this, to put the purpose on the paper, to use the technology and innovation to figure it out with a very simple but quite important thing, which was the rural actually part of the country. Because what we really wanted to showcase is that we, let's say, technology company, global company, and so on and so forth, we are taking a very good care about all the people in Romania, because we talk particularly about Romania now, and we are putting lots of efforts behind on creating infrastructure for all the people that are very willing to, I don't know, to be part of this technology and financial world, but they cannot do it because they don't have the tools to do it. Yeah. And basically that was the story behind. And afterwards, all the I don't know, all the insights, all the beauty and the angles that your team guys was able to put it together, it was just amazing. Because I think that in that kind of initiative, it's on one hand super important, let's say, the product, the infrastructure, rational part, and so on and so forth, but in the same time to really make it fly and make something very able to be rolled out at the market level and afterwards at the regional levels. You really have to make it very understandable to the market and to the people, and that was the magic put it by you guys behind this one. And yeah, very happy to be part of this amazing project. Very happy that all of us had this craziness. I don't know if it was on a high or low level, but it was just perfect.
It's great enough.
Exactly. Exactly, and finger crossed to this project to become bigger and bigger and bigger. and finger crossed to us to come up for the next strategic meetings for the following years with ideas at least with purpose and I don't know, feeling how this one was.
Perfect. Just one short question for Andrei. Talking about technology, what do you think is the simplest way to introduce technology in campaigns like Waze Market?
Oh my God, there's no simple way, but I think that we generally need to become very comfortable with the niches and exceptions, and that's generally the key. Like the niche of roadside sellers, and then you need to get comfortable with any sort of technology spark or innovation while it's only being born, because any large-scale innovation, once you get to hear about it, is first a niche or an exception, and even before that, it's just a crazy thought someone has while they're daydreaming, maybe. So we just generally need to understand these exceptions and niches early on, and get comfortable with working with them and establishing connections between them.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. It was a great panel. And I pass the microphone to Andrei for the next section of our show.
Thank you, Stefan. So we have been talking quite a lot about purpose and integrating purpose in our communication. But moving forward, now let's see, it's time to discover how we might be able to use that purpose once it exists to gather support or activate communities, to glue individuals or separate groups of people, to bring them together. In this sense, we'll go through some cases from Vodafone, Ardealul, and KFC. And you'll get to see that these are all ways to connect a brand with one or more communities through the brand purpose. And that's the common element there. We'll be talking to Gina from KFC, to Adrian from Ardealul, and to our creatives, Ruxandra, Lutz, and Cătălin. And we'll kindly ask them to comment around these stories and provide us with a bit more info, intelligence, and insight about them and about the process behind. So now let's play the Vodafone video, please.
Pământul s-a oprit în loc un timp și iată că avem timp să ne gândim. Avem timp să fim împreună cu ai noștri, dar și să încercăm să fim aproape de cei singuri. Să-i susținem de acasă pe cei care luptă cel mai mult, dar și pe cei care nu pot lupta. Să ne facem treaba chiar dacă nu mergem la serviciu. Să gândim deschis chiar dacă școlile s-au închis. Și să învățăm de la copii să nu obosim. Pământul s-a oprit în loc. Avem timp să fim mai împreună și să mergem înainte. Împreună suntem mai puternici.
We're not getting any sound, so should I do some voiceover or something?
Yeah, do the singing, do the singing part we've been talking about, Andrei.
Yeah, that we've been rehearsing all morning. Well, anyway, I think we're getting the picture here. Yeah, we can start the discussion. And I will kindly ask my guests to provide short answers because we are a bit late. So now, Ruxandra and Cătălin, which I don't need to introduce again, I have two questions for you. So I will just allow you to pick who answers what. So first one, telecom brands often find themselves in the situation to need to redefine togetherness. But this was a pretty special case. How do you talk to millions of isolated people? How do you make them feel glued as a community? I mean, what did together mean for Vodafone during lockdown?
Ruxandra.
Thank you, Cătălin, for giving the mic. So with this campaign, and with Vodafone, as Cătălin said earlier, they've always put technology in the hands of people to help them overcome barriers. But what was super special during the pandemic is that people naturally turned to technology to overcome these barriers. They naturally came together. So innovation was actually led by COVID. Like the whole situation put the innovation in the spotlight. And this meant for us that we need to look at purpose to bring innovation in. And we needed to dig deeper and see what connection between people meant in those times, and how we build purpose for everyone that was involved, like from the kids in education to the artists and all of the people that we've gave a stage to through our campaign.
So COVID-led innovation, I love that. Moving further, Vodafone usually does campaigns, large campaigns, big campaigns that reach mainstream audiences, and we all get to know those campaigns. But they often work with not so mainstream targets, with niches, with the moments. And my question here is, how do you deploy a grand brand purpose across niches, across touch points, across moments, and how is it still grand after that complicated deployment?
What a complicated question, Andrei.
Life is complicated.
Yeah, but a simple answer, I think. So, because believe it or not, purpose is always mass market. No matter how niche your purpose is, no matter how small the community that you talk about, the way you bring purpose in the conversation makes it relevant for everyone. So this is how you do it, through purpose.
Yeah, I just want to make a very small comment here, because I think Ruxandra said it right. Vodafone, the line "Together we are stronger," it's a line that you've been hearing from Vodafone historically. And I want to make a point here about continuity, because this is something we're going to be talking about also in the Rome story and so on. So together we are stronger, as a way to articulate the brand purpose, it's exactly about that. Technology being put in people's hands, so it gathers us together so we can overcome obstacles. And this is what happened in the pandemic. Technology was a great ally, and in a time in which audiences were disconnected, because people were obviously disconnected, but also artists and all the things that brought us together, all of a sudden didn't happen anymore. And technology offered a platform in which people can really show that together again we are stronger, and it reconnected the dots that we were missing. And it really made a difference in a period of time in which people who really needed to rely on technology to give them, I don't know, a positive feeling that they are still together and they can still make a difference by being together. So again, you take "Together we are stronger," something that articulated historically Vodafone's brand purpose, and we gave it meaning during the lockdown, which I think is a very, very important thing. And it took a very, very big team effort to do it, because you know how things are moving in lockdown, and we have a lot of pressure and so on. So I really want to congratulate the whole team, because they really pulled it together in a very short period of time. I think that was a really good campaign.
So not to sound overly dramatic here, but when reality robs us of cohesion, we might be using a brand purpose to help build some cohesion back there.
Always.
Okay, thank you. A very interesting.
May I say something?
Yeah.
Please.
Because we also had a campaign about togetherness, and it is true. This is Rome in different flavor, in different wearing different flags of the countries where the biggest communities of Romanians are. So this is again our brand purpose as well, to bring Romanians around a common cause, a common how to say, a challenge that we all had around the world with this pandemic. So thank you guys for bringing us together.
No, I think this, and thank you for the intervention, Gabi, because I think it's really important. Just to give a bit of context for people who maybe they don't know this. This was an activation we did during the lockdown, when a lot of Romanians that were working abroad, they were being recommended to stay there. You know, not to come back because obviously of safety reasons. So they needed, the recommendation was for them to stay away from their families, especially during holiday times and so on. So that was very difficult.
It was Easter.
Exactly.
It was Easter back then. Yeah.
And it was very important for a brand like Rome to do something to show them that, listen, even though they are apart, they can still feel together. You know, obviously not using technology like Vodafone did, but using a brand asset very specific to Rome. So yeah, thank you, Gabi, for bringing this on the table.
You see, we are talking a lot about technology, but the truth is that the emotional stuff are touching people's heart mostly.
Always.
The technology is just enabling us to show the emotions.
Like it's enabling us to have this event right now.
Yes.
So can we thank you for that intervention, and please let's go further to Ardealul.
Nu ia și gustă, Ionuț. Nu, asta ce mai... Picat ai pus?
Cum să?
Da, fain așa.
Ei, se poate.
Tu n-ai pus fainoșac ca pe vremuri, nu?
Am pus fainoșac de viitor.
Inspirăm și salutăm soarele.
Soare! Alină! Care fainoșac e mai bun? Al meu sau al lui Ionuț?
Da.
Nu ia să vedem cum va fi în viitor.
Când doi se luptă, fainoșagul câștigă. Ție care ți-a plăcut?
Cool. Adrian, welcome. So now we have a pretty clear example out of Ardealul brand, the recent silver Effie winner here. Congratulations for that. I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask some outsider questions because I did not have anything to do with the campaign, in all honesty. But I'm very curious, Adrian. There are lots of brands that stem from traditions. That's nothing new. But some of them, get lost on the way. Some of them become trapped in the past, become somewhat obsolete, and end up being irrelevant. How do you bring such a brand that stems from traditions into present? How do you connect the rural, traditional community with a young and urban community?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the words. In 2019, Ardealul already got the fainoșag, which is our secret something that makes the brand so special. But then we felt that the normal tradition had to be handed over to the younger generations. And then we start working with you guys. And you came up with the idea of The Apprentice. Ionuț Rusu actually is the brand ambassador that we've chosen together. He's a very well-known YouTuber and an influencer, a talented comedian in the market in Romania. And then we've chosen to put him in this role of The Apprentice. And then last year, we started a battle because the greatest pride for a master, which is Ion, of course, Ion, the master of Ardealul, is when his follower starts to challenge him. And this battle is the right thing to do in order to to be sure that the young generation already got the knowledge to make a great pate. This campaign, Ion versus Your Nudes, was not a usual one because tradition in the normal ways is boring. And of course, we wanted to innovate something. And of course, we had the normal media channels like TV and normal online. But I think one of the most important things was that we launched a video with them, a combination of West Coast hip hop with Transylvanian influences. And that was one of the hits in the campaign because with that video, we reached something like 2 million views only on Facebook and a lot of shares, about 7,000 or something. Maybe Ruxi, you can tell us more about this idea of the video, but I think that was something disruptive in a normal campaign.
I love it. You know, it was like a big success, big pop culture. And I think this is what Bardalu has been doing amazingly for a long tradition. And yeah, oh no, I'm not stuck. So yeah, I think this is the purpose that even though it's not said up front, this is the purpose that Bardalu had in DNA, to bring the traditions up front. And this is something that we've also played with a lot of our clients in the past, and now it's just like a match made in heaven when we come with this knowledge and with Bardalu.
So Ruxi, you're having some connection issues there. We could only hear like half of what you were saying. Maybe move to a better bit. So yeah, some great figures there, great numbers in that case. Anyway, I just I will memorize this. Like you can do connection through confrontation. That's
yeah. And another interesting thing I think is that always combining opposite things, like I don't know, super traditional rural things, like a recipe made in the rural side, combined with DJing, which is a so urban thing, is always going to get something interesting. And of course, another thing is combining technology with the rural side. It's also offering some great insights and great ideas. So the opposites, when you put together, come up something interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So talking about numbers, during lockdown, you have reached a historic market share. How do you think communication contributed to that?
Oh, I think creativity sells. That's very true. I actually came from an advertising agency some years ago. So I was on the creative side, and then I moved to the client. And I always say that creativity sells. And if you have a great idea, great innovation, sales will just come up. So it's not so super surprising that our market share was the best in the last, 10 years during that campaign. But that happened, and that's a good thing. And congratulations for that, because you really contributed to that market share. It's very important to have these results, because then you can buy in the management and you can go further with the next campaigns.
Right. Another short one. What's the next level?
Oh, the next level, we are preparing for targeting even more the women, because now we reached the young people, but now we have to go further and give women what's theirs in this category, because we all know that men are just praising themselves as the best chefs. The truth is that the women are really better.
So we are expecting the year of women.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, because when you think about the best, the best food that you ate ever, it's your mom's food, probably.
Yeah, thank you for that. Let's move further to KFC.
Hair day? Put on a filter. Not your good angle? Take another 68 selfies. This is how Gen Z struggle to make everything about their lives look #InstaPerfect. As the brand that stands for authenticity and realness, KFC wanted to help teens see life outside Instagram's perfect verticals. After 3 successful series developed under KFC's social entertainment channel, we launched our most provocative yet. The Croppers is the story of a group of 4 teenager misfits who decide to open a business where they crop people's real lives to give them the perfect wardrobe, house, party on social media. We launched the Croppers business in real life as a social experiment. Some people were furious, others jealous, others felt unsafe in this new world order. But eventually hundreds asked for a crop. Even communication agencies or public figures. Since everybody was in lockdown, we launched the series on a digital red carpet. And at the hour of the premiere, everybody got the new Croppers buckets delivered at their door. As for the viewing experience, the Croppers mobile website featured an innovation meant to showcase 2 perspectives of the same story. The vertical would tell the proper social media ready story, while the landscape unveiled the sometimes ugly reality around the crop. The rise and fall of the Croppers empire was also broadcasted in a transmedia universe, where our main character even kept a daily voice log on Spotify. Here, people would discover other tensions and subplots from the Croppers.
Dar e mai ușoară dacă suntem pe bune.
Cu picnic pe mine! What? Sunt 1000 de oameni! Break! Te vânează pentru 100% discount la KFC. Ești nebun?
Sincer, chiar e foarte plăcut să mă joc contra toată lumea care vine pe mine. E chiar foarte fan.
Nici n-am respirat, dar am simțit bine.
N-aud! Toată lumea a murit de... Pe bune ne-au rupt băieții 2. Mamă, wow.
Yeah, so pretty different campaigns there. Let's now we are pretty short on time, so I will ask everyone to keep it short. Gina, welcome. You got 3 golds at the Effie 1 week ago, right?
Yes.
That's gotta mean a lot of champagne. Did you recover?
Yes, we had a lot of aspirin and a long weekend to help us get through it. But I think the most important thing for us as a team, and when I say team, I mean us, KFC, you know, media, McCann, MRM, everyone who worked on this project, it was like the huge recognition of a very, very hard year when we had to do and redo everything. Another in the usual, we're doing campaigns, do and redo, but one day after the other, we had to change everything we've talked about, reshape media plans, reshape creatives. Lutu has done edits after edits. So everybody, you know, was like doing not 100% or 110%. We were like on overdrive. So having 3 golds and 2 silvers is maybe one of the best things that has happened so far this year. But we are working on other things. So there's more to come in terms of what we're doing next. And I see Lutu is laughing and smiling because he's working on stuff now. So yeah.
But may I ask you, what should a big brand do? Now I'm referring to killer discounts. So the second video that we saw. What should a big brand do in order to not be lame or even annoying when trying to interact with a community that's so closed often and reluctant to brands as the gamers community?
I think the gamers get a bad reputation, but they're not that bad. And the key is to talk to them, to actually partner up with them and find out what makes them tick, what they enjoy, and how would they want to see brands getting into their world. And not go in and, you know, brand everything and say, hey, I'm KFC, I'm here, and I'm all about Colonel Sanders and crispy chicken, and I want your gamers to buy it. But you know, actually go to them and talk to them and, you know, find out what they're playing, when they're playing, what they want to see, who they would want to play with. So Killer Discount was all about that, you know, going to gamers, finding out who they were, you know, following on streams and matching them up, doing like a challenge of semi-pros with casual gamers. Because when you're a gamer, you're the best gamer, even if you're like own living room champion of gaming. But so yeah, that's the key. Talk with people. I mean, creatives they do come up with ideas out of thin air. You know, we see the opportunity in it. Media helps us out to target the right people, but from time to time, especially in niche categories, is actually doing the right partnerships and going to the right people to find out if it's actually the right thing to do.
Cool. So get to know the gamers and act according to their needs and the wants and the pain points and not against those. That seems pretty easy, but it's not. Yeah, let me tell you.
Adapt. Actually, continue struggling to be flexible and adapt everything you do.
Cool. Lutsu, how did Croppers manage to spread the story on so many channels? I mean, on how many channels can a story get to live?
Yeah, thank you for the question. But before answering your question, I want to thank you, Beatrice, for introducing me as Ionuț Jocaru, aka Lutsu. So talking about purpose, I feel like today I finally fulfilled my purpose. I'm aka Lutsu. So thank you, Beatrice, for that. Coming back to your question, first of all, I think the really quick answer would be as many channels as possible, as long as it serves the purpose of the campaign, the purpose of the story. But I want to go into a bit of an example, and I want to deconstruct a bit our campaign accordingly to the channel that we used, so that to understand a bit the purpose behind it. So for the Croppers, you have the main story that is that you can follow on the main channel, yeah, on YouTube and amplified on social media, and you follow the fall and the rise and eventually the fall of the Croppers, of the business, the main business, so you understand the whole idea. And then on Spotify, more specific on this channel, you have the arc story of the main character, the Leah, and you have her own diary, and you go deeper into her inner problems, and you get the chance to showcase the effects, the fakeness on social media get to teenagers. So that was the main purpose that we created the show in the first place, and we created it for a brand, KFC, that stands for authenticity in Romania. And I was really keen on making this happen, on having this Spotify channel, because I knew it served our bigger purpose. Nevertheless, as you mentioned, the Effies and the goals, I think, as you pointed out earlier in our discussion, the Croppers is one of the campaigns that is not created around the product. Yeah. And I don't know, luckily, this campaign generated eventually a product, the bucket, the Croppers bucket, that eventually became bestseller in our restaurants, in KFC restaurants. So I don't know. It's the living proof that good content really works, and you really need to have a big purpose behind any campaigns, even if it's a simple series.
Yeah, definitely agree there. Now, Victor, give me a short one. I think KFC experiments, and I know that pretty well, that KFC experiments quite often with micro communities, with lots of digital channels. What's next in terms of connections, of channels, of targeting? Is there any channel left where the target can hide from us? I'm definitely kidding there.
Nobody can hide from us. Come on, Andrei. No, I mean, when looking into communities, as little as they may be, there are two things actually about it. First of all, they get more fragmented. So you get more of those, you get this explosion of people gathering behind the same passion points or same behaviors. So that makes it like more granular, more fragmented communities. Second one, which is a positive one actually compared to the first one, as we get more data, they become more crystallized, let's say, to us. So, the quick answer to this is personalization at scale, I would say. So basically making best use of the data signals, let's say, to connect to those micro communities. And we can do that by having the right data ecosystem and doing this personalization at scale. Yeah. So that's like, let's say, a very, very quick answer to that. We can't say we leave all stones unturned. Maybe there are a few of those still remaining, but we'll for sure we'll chase those as well.
So there's pretty much nowhere left to hide. But why should they hide? Because we most often deliver entertainment, so it's basically what they consume anyway.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think the KFC cases are probably the best example of really truly offering them entertainment and best connected to their passion points, so Killer Discounts, I think it's one of the great examples in which you could have completely 100% screw up, because that's a really, really sensitive community. So you really need to understand how to connect to that, how to engage with them. It's exactly like Gina mentioned, or to make it 100%. And I think we chose the right approach to that. And we really, if you were to put 100%, let's say, discount in the game without having like a true story connected to the people that are engaging there, you would have really lost them all the way. Yeah. So I think beautifully done. It worked perfectly. So
great. Thank you for that. Thank you, everyone, for those insights. And I think it's now time to move further to the last panel. Stefan, please take over.
Is the masterclass of our presentation. And it's a masterclass because we have 10 beautiful years with Rome brand. What can I say more? We have more than 90 trophies. We have Titanium and Cannes. We have 2 Grand Prix. We have Effies. We have Internetics. We have a lot of prizes and recognition from the public. We have recognition from the market. We have recognition from the Effie and so on. It's a perfect, beautiful Romanian brand, a very powerful brand with a beautiful story. And I will invite Cătălin, Gabi, aka Luțu, and Ioana to talk the backstage.
Hey, hello everyone. I'm not sure we are on screen yet, but we're definitely here.
Cătălin, you should have started hello again.
Hey, hello again. You're right. This is like one of the famous catchphrases. Guys, this is a really big milestone, I would say, for us, because Gabi, you remember, and Luțu also, because he was there 10 years ago. It's been 10 years. So first of all, it makes us feel old, but the second feeling, it's one of being super, super proud. I need to tell you that, because it started this journey 10 years ago with something amazing, something that it's very, very rare. At that point, I think it never happened in Europe for a brand comes from a challenger position, grabs 2 Grand Prix and 1 titanium. It's like that was like crazy, and I think it was something that basically managed to break a bubble. You know, it's like I remember at that point we were talking with a lot of people, and I think it managed to influence the creative culture, obviously in the agency, but I would say in the region. You know, because we're talking with a lot of people and they say, guys, listen, the moment when we saw that you guys won Grand Prix and titanium out of Romania, and this never happened before, actually it showed everyone that it can be done. You know, so all of a sudden, everybody believed in the power of doing campaigns from this part of the world, and campaigns that get famous and campaigns that get amazing recognition. So I think that's something great because exactly, I have it also here. Where is it? Because it wasn't, what was very difficult was to make sure that this wasn't a one-off. You know, it's like you do a big campaign and then that's it. And I think the thing that managed to help us to be consistent in delivering brave campaigns is kind of like sticking to our mission. And I want Gabi to comment a bit on that, because we've always been about finding those causes, you know, that manage to pump up the Romanian pride, you know, and create engagement with people. And Rome always came from that position of a challenger brand that always provoked and so on. So I wanna ask Gabi a little bit, because always in all the presentations we talk about that. But I think it's very important to point out this, you know, because this makes it, it's not easy, but makes it makes the red line simpler to follow. You know, when you know exactly what is the purpose of that brand. So Gabi, what do you think? Can you tell everyone a little bit from the conversations that we always have about what is Rome about, what is the purpose? That's always a question that we ask ourselves when we're seeing a new campaign. Is this Rome or not?
Well, it may look complicated, but in reality, Rome is really very, very simple and very easy to be understood, because it's about us. It's about Romania, Romanians, about what is happening here on a daily basis. We are very resourceful as a country and as a people, and we take the full energy and the full inspiration from around us. So is that easy? So you know, sometimes I hear people talking about Rome, and they are simply looking like they read our brand book, you know. So I realized that the brand speaks for itself, and together we have managed to drive with transparency all about Romania. It's a brand, you know, that can simply appear like this and everybody knows what is this about. And I think no more words are bringing more meaning than a bar wearing the flag with no brand on it.
It's very simple. It's very simple when you see the campaigns. It's not very simple when you get the briefs. And for me, I remember when we started the conversation, we said we want to make a point about how tough it is. And I would really love to kind of like go a little bit through the campaigns that we've been doing a long time, and kind of like focus on, okay, what was the mission of those campaigns and why was that really, really tough? You know, I think that's very important, because again, when you see the case studies, when you see the prizes, when you see everything that's happening, by the way, Rome is one of the most awarded brands in Europe. Like, you will realize, like, this small but very powerful Romanian chocolate, it is one of the most awarded brands in Europe in all senses, also creativity, but also Effie's, and I think that's amazing. But the thing is that that's very, very tough, you know, but the effort pays off. So like if you take the first campaign, obviously before the American Rome, we had a lot of beautiful campaigns, but we're starting, let's say, this journey from the American Rome. Let's talk a little bit about how tough was that, because definitely, like, when we heard that campaign, it was scary and was like almost close to impossible. You know, can we talk a little bit about that, Gabi?
I will share with you the fact that a part of few people in marketing and general management, nobody knew related to the Rome American campaign that was a marketing driven campaign. So everybody in the factory, our colleagues, they thought that this is for real. And you know, during campaign, you know, there were a lot of people that when they were seeing me, they were so angry and so furious. How, Gabi, how can you do this to our brand, to sell it for to the Americans? We had a value and you sold it. We cannot even work in this factory any longer. And they were all like this, you know, full of hate. And this is for real, you know. Once a colleague from the factory told me that if he would have had a gun, he would have shot the whole marketing department and the agency for the American Rome. But well, we have played with emotions because we have realized that you know, whenever we lose something, we realize how much that thing is meaning for us. And this is the emotional button we have pressed with this campaign. And we have won because Romanians realized how much they care for Romania, for the flag, and for this little symbol that we have.
Yeah, very tough. It's very tough. Very
tough. It was
tough.
very tough. We even had plan A and plan B because we were very stressed about how the American embassy in Romania may react to our campaign, and it was really very, very stressful because of this.
I think this is what I wanted to point out, because I remember, like, when we did the campaign, it was a campaign that we knew at that point that can go either way. You know, maybe like we didn't know if people might say this is a great idea, even though we wanted to provoke by changing the flag on the pack, the iconic flag, and provoke people to ask for it back. We didn't know that this is gonna happen. So like we took a risk, but in the same time we were very well prepared to react no matter what was happening. Remember, we were doing those war rooms, like we were gathering.
Yes.
Follow up what was happening all the time, be ready to steer the conversation. Exactly. Luțu, do you remember those times? What do you remember from that period?
Oh man, a lot of nice memories. But now that Gabi was talking about the hate around the campaign, I'm starting to remember about the all hate comments. But what I remember the most is that okay, in Romania, if you say Rome, you say Romania. There's no question mark about it. Yeah, so Rome is Romania. But back then in Cannes, nobody knew Rome. So 10 years ago, we managed to put Rome on the creativity map. And yeah, I'm really proud that I got the chance to work on this campaign. And I think Rome is really the definition of the underdog. And I think this challenger approach, I really think it's coming from our culture as Romanians, because we really have to push harder. And I was looking at the case study, and man, it's not looking so good, to be honest. And yeah. Okay,
it was 10 for 10 years ago. It was great.
Even for 10 years ago. I don't know if it's the best case out there, but you have to appreciate the courage behind it. And I think this is the living proof that we have the same goal. We as a team, with Gabi here, the client, and all the teams. And even if it's a struggle, because that struggle that we are talking about from 10 years ago is still happening nowadays. It's even harder now. To push for brave ideas, but in the end it pays off. And even though we don't have the most crafted, the most well executed, the most beautiful crafted case studies, we have the bravest ideas of them.
I think that's important, and because I think what's important, besides the fact that, again, like I think the American Rome was something that caught everybody off guard because nobody expected it, and it was very, very brave, and it was risky. But us as a team, we were there, and we actually made it happen. You know, it's like, and we tried to control the conversation, and we managed to create something great. But I think what's important is that we didn't stop there. So remember, the next campaign, we picked out on something that was very, very tough to accomplish. You know, so remember those findings. I remember even now when Sebastian found those predictions, you know, on Google, like when you search Romanians are, and then you got the predictions. They're stupid, they're lousy, they're lazy, they're, you know, and the big mission to change Romania's image on the internet was something that only Rom could do. And remember, we figured out that innovative way of doing it by hijacking Google, you know, and generate searches, because we knew that by generating Google searches with Romanians are smart, we can change the predictions. But we guessed it. Like, I think that was the thing. Like, we didn't know it's going to happen for real. Remember that, Gabi? So, like, I want to focus on how tough that was, because we set up a really big ambition, something that only Rom can do, but it was really, really tough. What do you remember from that time?
Well, I remember that our heart was jumping, you know, in our chest, you know. But what was really beautiful, indeed, it was the fact that we were seeing from one day to another how the predictions are changing. And we had this, how to say, personal kind of reward that we have contributed to change the Romanian identity on the internet on just like this, you know, in real time. So, you know, after 10 years, I think we did something that really counts for Romanians and for this brand. We build up strong brand and strong emotions around it. It's something that nobody can ever copy.
And I think, yeah, I think the challenge is bigger than life. It's a huge challenge, as always, for Rome. But the solution is so Romanian, you know, finding a hijack to change the, yeah, the predictions is like so Romanian. Talking about the Romanian culture, when we used to, you know, we were in the position to find shortcuts all the time because of the past. So it's a good example here, because this is what we did.
Yeah,
we find the hijack into the system.
I think Romanians are looking forward to hijack something. It's like when somebody gives them the opportunity to hijack something for a good cause. I think they do it. And yeah, like I remember I were counting the searches online, you know, because we knew we can change the predictions with a combination of things. The searches and the amount of content we generate with this catchphrase, Romanians are smart. And remember, we were counting the searches, and we didn't know if it's going to change or not. But actually, it did change on the 1st of December. And we need to check what's happening now, because I'm not sure how the searches evolved. But it was something that gave us a lot of pride on the National Day. And talking about the stuff that we want to change, I want to go to the next campaign that we did. I remember 1 year later, we picked on this mistake that everybody is doing, you know, the Bucharest, not Budapest campaign. Remember that one? Because that was a campaign that, again, started from an observation. Remember at that point, some Atletico Bilbao fans, they flew to Budapest instead of Bucharest. And I see the same mistake is being done right now with the Euro, you know. So I want to ask Luțu, if he's still here, what he remembers from that campaign, because I think that for me that was a very interesting campaign. It was again a campaign about hijacking, because we managed to find a way to generate content that aimed to fix this confusion once and for all. And I think it was again another example of something, that a tool that we put in people's hands, we put it in Romanians' hands, so we can do the impossible, you know, fix global confusion that unfortunately is still there. So what do you remember, Luțu, from that time? Luțu, I don't know if he can still hear us, but I remember it was very, very interesting, and all the time when we managed to put this online, and and asking people what's their opinion about that, everybody had a story about how they made the confusion between Bucharest and Budapest. And we managed to think, like, I remember we got an apology from the Iron Maiden lead singer, because that in that period of time, I remember everybody, like all the concerts, a lot of the artists, they were doing this mistake. You know, they were going on stage and they were saying, hello Budapest, instead of hello Bucharest. And we managed to reach the Iron Maiden lead singer with this campaign, and he actually apologized, which I think it was genius, it was really funny.
Yeah, but you know, this topic is very very hot these days as well, because the French guys, they did the same mistake. And well, so you see how our campaigns are for real after years, not only at the time we are on air.
But this time it's the other way around. It's Bucharest, not so they came to Bucharest, so the campaign did the job. So
they did. I remember, like I saw in the when they sent the materials in the Euro for the Euro tournament, they did this mistake. So they sent by mistake the branding with Bucharest to Budapest and the branding with Budapest to Bucharest, which is crazy. Like the campaign, like we didn't manage to fix it. Sometimes you don't manage to fix it. You know, sometimes you just take this big mission and you just go forward with it. And I think that's great. And moving to the next one, again, that was very tough to do. You know, it wasn't an easy mission, even though it was fun, it wasn't easy. And I move into the next campaigns, which I think that they're great. The candidate. You know, it's like when we try to do something that, again, is not something easy to be done by a brand, encouraging people to go vote, because first of all, people, they don't like to take advice from brands, especially when it's something that it's involving social behavior, you know. But I think probably Rome was one of the only brands that could have done something about that. And the way we chose to do it was, again, it was a very, very risky and tricky way, but probably was the only way to actually get reactions and get people interested in the subject in a very interesting way. So we managed to provoke again, and I wanna ask Gabi and Ioana to comment a little bit on this, what they remember from during the campaign, because I remember a lot of talks and a lot of debates about what's the best way to do the speech of the fake candidate and what's the best way to actually roll out the campaign. So we end up with a good result. You know, like that's the tricky part. When you provoke, you don't know exactly what's going to happen. So you need to be extra careful in managing the conversation. So I want to ask you guys, what do you remember from when we used to do to implement the campaign?
Well, first of all, I was wondering what the overarching theme would be, and you mentioned the word hard the least 5 times in the intro. So I said, okay, it's like the thing is, we always have the bar super raised with Rome. So when we decided we're gonna launch a fake candidate, there were a lot of talking to the legal department. I remember that was one thing. Talking internally about making a political stand in a way. Then talking about going through different scenarios. I remember we had like a word of different basically comments, for social media, where people, if they were to say one thing, we would answer one way, and all these sorts of preparing that we had to do. And also not knowing where it was going to land, just like you said, Cătălin. It was like, okay, people are not going to care, or are they? But it got such a huge response, and people actually fell for it, because I think that was our wonder. Like, is anybody going to believe us? Is the speech believable? Are we touching on the right strings? So many moments with that campaign. What do you?
Yes, I think what was really great about the campaign is that we have put like a mirror, you know, in front of the Romanians without telling them go voting. You know, we just put a mirror of prototype of people that they shouldn't run for real our lives. And I think this was the trigger that helped in order to drive the youngsters, especially, to go voting.
But Gabi, do you remember when we first presented the idea to you? because yeah, I have to say we presented the idea like, I don't know, 3-4 times in different formats. But the very first time we presented the idea, I really believed that we should we should run this candidate for real, like getting the signatures and make the campaign for real, and let Romanian choose for themselves. And I still wondering if if we have made it for real. If it maybe
well,
one
yes.
or something.
We were really crazy, but not that crazy to have this candidate for real. But tell me, do you remember how did we approve this campaign?
Yes, of course. I still have the jeans. I still have the jeans with the mark on them. Yeah, I have to tell you that Gabi had a stamp with the Romanian flag, and at the end of the presentation,
instead of giving a formal approval, what did I do?
You stamped each and every one in the meeting room with the Romanian flag. So yeah, I still have it. I still have it on my jeans. I swear.
These are great stories, and I think again in this campaign, the fact that you take a chance, but in the same time, it's kind of like an educated risk because you prepare exactly how you react to it. It's not just like, because I know a lot of people are watching and they're like, yeah, obviously because Rome, it's a smaller brand, so obviously it needs to take risks and so on. But I think up to a certain point, all the brands, they can take risks in order to get people's attention. Obviously, risks that are related, they have a purpose, it's not risking for the sake of risking. And obviously, being prepared to react. Because today, again, the campaigns are starting after you launch them. It's like the trouble, all the effort and so on. It's about how do you push the campaign forward, how do you create extra content, how do you make the cause actually go forward. Back in the day, you were putting a campaign on air and okay, that was it. You need to see what's happening. But now you launch it and this is when the work starts. It's exactly what happened with the candidate. It's like with this strategy of, okay, so people, they don't vote because they feel like they have no one to vote for. So we're going to show them what they should vote against. That was a strategy that allowed us to do a candidate and then manage the conversation in a very interesting way. So we make sure that it's heading in the right direction. And now we're moving forward to a campaign that is very close to the times that we're living now, because it's a campaign that we did in the pandemic. I'm talking about the canceled events, sponsor of the canceled events. And I know this is a campaign that we approached and we talked about it a little bit in the first phase. But I think it's something that is very fresh because always Rome has been reactive to what's happening. So Rome always had took the social pulse. It managed to create very beautiful, nice, reactive campaigns. And this one managed to give us, we saw pandemic as an opportunity, not as a problem. I think, again, that's very, very Rome to do. But I want to focus on the tough part, because going and just like having the idea of how about provoking, let's say, the international events and kind of like poking the bear a little bit, that draws a very thin line in terms of legal, in terms of what you can do, what you cannot do. And again, I want to prompt a little bit Gabi and the guys to tell us a little bit from the stories that we've been through. And I don't kind of like let everyone hear that this campaign that we're all watching now, the case study, is beautiful, that it gets recognition, it gets attention in Effie's, but also in Cannes. It was very, very difficult to do, but at the end of the day, it was worth it. So I want to ask Luțu, Gabi, and Ioana, tell us a little bit, tell us one story about the tough part of this campaign and how we managed to overcome it.
I think the beginning is...
Guys, Ioana, I don't want to be unpolite. Please excuse me. My son just stepped out from the mathematics exam because he had the national evaluation, and I would need to go to hug him. So
go. What did you do? Tell us, what did you do? Put him live.
I will. I only want to tell you that the toughest and the bravest decisions we have ever made turned into the best campaigns ever. So thank you guys. Please excuse me. But
No problem. You need to tell us what happened at the exam. So you need to
I
put it
will
in the
come back.
chat.
Okay,
Please.
thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Gabi.
Bye.
Great stuff.
Bye. Bye.
So Ioana and Lutu, yeah, let's get some stories. Let's get like one story each, and yeah, let's see how we manage to do this one.
I remember that we were really excited about the idea because we just brainstormed about it, and we were like, oh my God, this is what we should be doing, and we just stopped like, this is it, and this is very hard for us to stop. With ROM, we never stop until it's really, really good. So we got all the project managers together in the team, and we said, we're doing this. And there was like a 2-minute silence. I think it was like, are you crazy? Like what? But they're canceled. Like how are we gonna do this? So you could tell on their everybody was camera off at some point because they didn't want to look at us. And you could feel like, well, it was fear combined with what the hell are you doing and are you crazy? Which made us, which sparked the ambition even more. I think like we have to do it now. We really have to do it. But I remember like that first impact where actually I think the presentation was easier to sell to Gabi because she's getting so used to all this crazy stuff. But to get that reaction internally, I think it really fueled us to do it.
Yeah, I remember the calls with legal. You know, like the video. Usually, you do group calls with creatives, with clients, with accounts. Doing group calls with legal from London, Bucharest, and so that's something new to do for a campaign. But at the end of the day, it was worth it. What do you remember from this one, Lutu?
Specifically for this one, it was tough, but it was fun in the same time. The situation when I had to go with the main actor and pretend to be for real, and we went to the national arena and we wanted to sponsor the event even if it was canceled, and we tried to enter the stadium and place a huge ROM flag on the field. And of course, we had the camera with us. We were shooting, and we tried to pass by the staff at the entrance. And you can imagine the reaction of the guy.
You didn't get into a fight, at least.
Almost. But we managed to pass the first level of security. And then the guy called the guy, that the guy called another guy, and they eventually came in at the second entrance of the stadium. And then the things got a bit escalated quickly.
But it was good. Yeah, tell me.
No, it was really funny. It's we had all those scenes with don't shoot, put the camera down, and all that.
For real, happening for real. I think that's like for me, just to wrap up this, but with something that obviously is related to ROM, because you see, being brave and having a red line and having a team that works together to pull this through. Because again, like when you have ideas that scare you, the only way to overcome this and to actually say, okay, let's do it, is to have a great team that you can trust. And I think that's kind of like the relationships we love to build, and are the relationships that we're very proud of. And having this mentality and kind of like having this feeling, when you're starting not necessarily a dangerous campaign, but like a bold campaign, I think that's key. And I really want to emphasize that, because it is happening on Rome, and this is how this brand managed to become one of the most awarded and recognized brands in Europe. But it's happening also on all the other clients that we managed to push and do bold campaigns. And we are encouraging everybody to be bolder, because I think it's like we feel we can trust you, and I'm sure you guys feel you can trust us. And together as a team, we can do amazing things. It's like I'm looking at the Waze, the roadside market campaign. Again, it took like an amazing group effort to implement and to implement that campaign. And looking at all the Vodafone campaigns, it took an amazing group effort to actually do that. And I'm looking at KFC, and there's a very, very strong team there, and the connections and are based on trust. And everybody knows they can rely on each other no matter what was happening. And it's the same thing with Ardeal. And just to name a few from the examples that we showed today. But I think that's the most important thing. You know, it's like, I think we need to follow our purpose. We need to be innovative in what we're doing. And we need to trust each other as a team to do the craziest and boldest things, because together we can do it. You know, so like, I want to leave you with that, especially because we're in this Cannes environment, Cannes festival. And I encourage you to watch the gala today, because I feel I have a good feeling about it. We might get some good surprises. And yeah, I'm handing this over to Beatrice to wrap it up. Thanks a lot for staying with us.
Hey, thanks. And I guess, yeah, you really wrap it up very well. It's amazing. I think all of the campaigns here are really success stories that are based on friendships and on trust, most of all. I think you implicitly answered one of our questions that we have online in the YouTube link. Sharon, thank you, Sharon, also for congratulating the winners. So Sharon was asking us, which is what do people feel are the key ingredients in the process to get a fully rounded creative response with brand acts and not just communication. So maybe Catalin, you want to add anything else, but I think what you just said really covers it. And it takes courage, it takes inspiration, it takes trust and aligning the values and yeah, the ambitions in great deal.
Yeah, I think what I would do, because I know we're running late with time, and I really appreciate the questions, and for sure we should first of all, maybe we should do kind of like a separate Q&A and do a follow-up with the people that actually asked the questions. I think you're right. Just to be short, it's about that. It's not about the point that we're doing. It's not about all the brands doing the type of work that we're doing for Rome. It's not about that, because different brands can be bold in different ways, and they act on different types of purposes, you know. So I think we can manage to do amazing stuff that looks very, very different in terms of purpose and in terms of delivery for different brands, but being innovative in the same time. So I would really love to follow up on the questions that we have and actually have a really good discussion about that. Maybe we do it as a group thing, or maybe we do it privately.
Yeah, actually, we also encourage you guys to continue put their questions if you still have. We will definitely follow up with similar incentives during still this year. We won't wait till the next season of Cannes and Effie already. Yeah, so I would really like to thank everyone that was part of today's session. I will thank upfront Catalin, Stefan, Andrei, that co-hosted very nicely the show. I would thank definitely Gabi for being with us even in such a tension today, and we all hope that it ended up well. Also Raluca, Gina, and Adrian, thank you million for being here. And I guess I think you agree with us that you know, the friendship behind and the trust behind really were playing the main role in our successes. Victor, Rux, Ioana, I hope I'm not forgetting anyone, and definitely aka Lutsu. Yeah, I do forget somebody, and I don't want. It's Corina. Special thanks to Corina, and special thanks to Platon. Without you, we wouldn't be in scene today. So thank you million. It's awkward as it is to just be, you know, in this digital environment and not feel the public, but we succeeded due to you. Yeah, this is it. This is our wrap. Once again, fingers crossed to all the further wins in Cannes this week, and see you everybody soon enough. Thank you.